Hi, this is just a quick recording of session 8, how to move your video project forward. As you can see from this slide, we are now just over halfway through the course, and you're focusing your time at this moment, developing your video and trying to capture the footage that you need, with the goal of presenting a rough cut in mid-December, and then the final cut at the end of January. So you still have plenty of time to put this project together. Now, one of the things I want to emphasize here is how, when you're preparing to film your video, it's really good that you've done some detailed research and that you think in terms of sequences. So you have a 5-6 minute video. It's probably going to have 3 or 4 key sequences that you want to film, and the sequence is essentially a series of scenes that sort of explain something. Maybe they show a central idea, or they are scene setting, and they could be action related. So for instance, it could be somebody getting up, going downstairs, going to the kitchen, starting to make their breakfast. This is very logical steps that we normally follow. And then it could also be that the sequences establish a certain mood. So you want to have an atmosphere, you want to show a party, you want to show people enjoying themselves, so on. So it's really important that before you start filming, you have these in your mind. And I want to share a couple of examples of how you might do this. So the first example actually comes from the work of Luis Patron, who you remember from the workshop, the video camera workshop in October. And in this particular example, he was going to film in Tanzania about the contamination of the fishes from the local lake after they're captured. And he basically, before he went there, he did a lot of research on the internet and pulled together photographs and images of just exactly what the fishing looks like, where the fishes are kept, and how the scientists are working to identify and also reduce the contamination of the fish catch. And then he would go to Tanzania and do the filming. And the second example is from Indonesia, and the topic is invasive species. And here you can see how before Luis goes to the location, he lists up some of the key ideas that he wants to cover, and then he also collects a lot of the images. And for this particular video, there was going to be a commentator, somebody going into the field and leading us through the story, and he identified the youth ambassador from UNEP to do this, to have this role. So all this was thought through beforehand, and then after he's captured the film, he puts it on his timeline. Remember, he did this during the video workshop, and he'll take screenshots of various images, and with those screenshots he'll create sequences. So you can see the 5 or 6 sequences that he's thinking through, and then he will start to edit with those sequences in mind. Now, turning to a project that I've been involved in for some time, this is an example of a Suano conference where for 2 days every year, usually in December, we organize a conference in that small town and turn the whole place, actually a large number of venues, into conference sites. And so here's the sort of images that I took from Google Maps that show the basic street layout and the character of the buildings and so on. And this is something that I gave to my students on the previous creative media project, because they were the ones who were going to work with me, and they were the camera crews who were going to capture everything, and they were also going to do the interviews as well. So I wanted them to be really clear on the sort of scenes that I wanted them to capture. In addition, I had photos from previous conferences, so I could show that to the students and say, well, this is the atmosphere inside the venue, and I want you to capture that atmosphere, and I also want you to do interviews with some of the key participants. And then in order to enrich the video, I searched online for images of the town, so sort of like from a tourist perspective, that I think would really help to improve the video content and work as good B-roll. So you can see images of the koi in the streams next to the main street. There's a Christian church there. There's an old Edo area. There's a castle ruin on top of the hill overlooking the town, and a major Shinto shrine, a station with this steam train that comes during tourist season, and so on. So I thought if we captured that, it would really help improve the quality of the video. And then I also provided the students with a number of questions. This is just a few examples that they could use when interviewing the participants, like what's the sort of challenges facing this town, what can the community do, what sort of solutions are there, and are there any messages for other communities. And here you can see in the pictures the students are doing the interviews with the participants, some outside the venue, some inside the venue. And now what I would like to do is, having told you about how our research worked and how we prepared, I want to show you the video and just make a few comments on it, just so you can see how that how those ideas became a reality, how we implemented them. So the video begins with a drone view of the town and the local geography, and you can see the major Shinto shrine, and we get an overall impression of what the town is all about. Next, we hear various experts and visitors talking about Suwano and its potential, and sort of setting a positive frame for the video.
すごく可能性を持っている街ですね。そう感じてます。
津和野には自然も人もすでにあります。で、ここにあるものが、ここにいる人がこんなに素敵っていろんな人に教えてあげたら、ふらっと行ってみたくなります。
まずこの街に対する印象はもうポテンシャルがすごいなっていうのが第一印象でした。自分たちで解決していこうって思ってる当事者の、市民の人たちがいっぱいいて、かつその熱がだんだん波及していって、これからどんどんいろんなものが変わっていく、いい方向に動いていくんじゃないかっていうエネルギーがすごい街だなっていう印象が一番大きいです。
And then we hear from Tago-san, who is the main protagonist in the story, and he's talking about how the town has changed in recent years and some of the challenges that it faces.
そういうふうに時代が長く続いてたんですが、やはりその時代の変化とともに、やはりその観光地としての必要性もどんどんなくなってきた。で、その減ってきた観光客に、伴って、やっぱりちょっとこの街の元気がだいぶなくなってきたんじゃないかなと。
ツアーのもう日本全国の課題と同じで、多分少子高齢化、あと観光って今回コロナのこともあって大変だったと思うんです。
日本の地域で問題になっていることっていうのは、例えばそれは過疎化が進んでいるとか、あるいは産業がその地場産業が衰退しているとか、あるいはコロナだからそういう話じゃなくなったけれどもインバウンドの問題があったりとか、
ここに歴史的建造物もかなり多いんですが、その家自体もかなり古くなってきて、このままいったらもうどんどん人口が減るだけだなというふうに考えました。で、その時に私の家もちょっとかなり古くなってきたのもあって、ぜひちょっとこの家をですね、何かの活用をきっかけに町の元気につなげられたらっていうのがまず最初のきっかけです。で、そこの家の問題から始まったんですが、やっぱり家だけではやっぱりなんとかできない。なのでやはり津和野全体の町をひっくるめて、何かその元気につなげる活動ができないか。で、そこで東京で中西さんに出会ってですね、その中西さんと共に、そこの仕掛けをですね始めたっていうのがきっかけですね。
And here we see the mood has changed, and we're going into the conference venue, and you can kind of get a feel of what is going on. So it's probably not so excited to watch a 15-minute video just about a conference, and what we tried to do was again change the mood by showing the party that took place actually in the evening of the conference, but actually bringing that into the middle of the video.
こういうマルチセクターというか、たくさんの多様な人が薄く広くつながって、それぞれが共感して仲良くなったり、あるいは僕もね今日初めて津和野に来たんですけど、これで少しだけ関係者になった感みたいなのが、何人かの顔が分かったっていう、こういう状況になるっていうことがすごく重要だっていうのは僕いろんなところで実感してます。実際こういう場をいろんなところで作ってもきました今まで。それやっぱり無形のものなんだけれども、そういった場所から始まる出来事ってすごく大きくなることがあるんですよね。
And now we're preparing you for the end of the story, and Tago begins by explaining the situation and how it could improve, and then we hear from his colleague Nakanishi, who talks about how it would be great if this kind of conference happened in different parts of the world.
で皆さんにもぜひ津和野に寄ってもらえるような、観光資源としてじゃなく寄ってもらって、できればその若い人から年寄りまでの人口比率もいい状態に戻って、また町として活動ができるような状態になってもらえたらなというふうに思っています。
And so we start to introduce the train image to give you the impression that we and the participants will be leaving the town after the conference is finished.
いろんな地域でやってみたいなと。で今日参加者の方は沖縄の石垣島からいらっしゃっていると。で石垣島でこんなことができたらいいなと思ったりするんですよね。で九州でもやりたいし、東北でもやりたいと思ってる。でそういう会議体をみんなでシェアできればいいなと。で今津和野だけしかやってませんけど、例えばオリンピックは東京でやった後は、じゃあ次はどことか、パリだったりロサンゼルスだったりとかやりますよね。でそんな大都市じゃなくてもこれはできるので、じゃあ次はもうちょっと同じ規模の違う場所でこれをやろうとか、いうようなことが、みんなでできるようになればいいなというふうには思いますけどね。
Okay, I hope you found this interesting. I just wanted to show how students who've taken this course in the past were able to produce very high quality video, great interviews, nice framing, and a lot of really attractive B-roll to make this video a much more interesting final product.